So I've been meaning to do a video like this for a while because one of the main things that I brought in here at Coven is the way that we can use media in a positive way to actually form connections, groups of people who are forward thinkers, are more collectively minded, and are wanting to affect positive change in the world. I would love to see more people starting YouTube channels. I think it'd be brilliant. And the one thing I think that's kind of held that back is that there hasn't been the ability to really have an active timeline, like you do at Facebook, for example, or like you do at Instagram. But that's changing. And I'm glad that they changed it. They're going to be rolling out a post-only feed, which is awesome. There's a lot of stuff that comes up for you as a small creator and when you're just getting started. And most of the time, people get all boxed into, how they can get their numbers up. And I believe in putting your authentic self out there, not playing any of the games, not following the algorithm, and doing what really inspires you and what really feels good. Because when you tap into what feels good and what you're really enjoying, or what really excites you, or what really stimulates your mind, you bring a certain quality, you bring a certain presence to what you do. Not only that, but that's when you have your real magic moments. You're like a clear channel to get your message across, or to bring something forward that really has the ability to impact change. And I think this is beautiful, to be able to be in that zone. What happens though is if you get too wrapped up and too concerned about the numbers, all right, it can become problematic, because then you lose that. You lose that spontaneity, you lose the creative spark, you lose the ability to really be present in the process, and then everything you do starts to become formulaic. And I see it happen all the time. And I know people want real. I mean, I want real, and I know most of the people I talk to want real. People don't want this sort of homogenized existence because it's not relatable. What's the point if it's all just contrived, and if it's all just about keeping up airs, keeping up appearances, all right? And that is the direction that everything's heading in. More stripped down, more real, less flash, more substance, okay? But this poses a supreme challenge, right? It poses a supreme challenge when it comes to being a YouTube creator, because that's not the current algorithm in place. Nope. And so if you're not willing to play the game, and if you don't want to jump through the hoops, and if you're moving forward in such a way where you're like, well, I just want to put my authentic voice out there. I got something I need to say. I have something I want to contribute to the conversation about how we move forward collectively, I have some creativity that's meant to be witnessed, whatever it is. It's hard enough to get viewed on YouTube. It's hard enough to even have people come across your channel to view your videos, all right? Sometimes people get lucky. They go viral, just boom, like that, and the magic happens for them, and that's wonderful. But that's not the reality for most people. Most people really kind of grind away at it, especially if they're doing something different. Now, most of the time you'll hear, if you're not, up there in numbers, it's because your content sucks. And that's not necessarily true. It's that you might be doing something so out there or so different, or something that's not popular, okay, that's not trending. And so when you first introduce this into the collective consciousness, people are kind of like, huh? They don't know what to think about it. You kind of just have to put your energy out there authentically, and then wait for other people who see things like you to come into alignment. You have to do what really fulfills you. You have to do what excites you. You have to do what interests you, whether you're getting the kind of views you want or not. There's a huge learning curve, and each person's experience is different. But I think it's important to let people know that are just starting channels, if you feel like things are going slow, you really have to look at it through your own eyes. Are you bringing something forward that hasn't been done before? And if we're going to use it in a progressive way to form connections, you know, in an evolutionary way, a revolutionary way, and I do think it is the wave of the future. I mean, back in the 60s, it was all about, you know, the revolution will not be televised. It's like, now, oh no, it's on, and it's on prime time. I really feel like this is the wave that's coming in. The best time to catch a wave is when it's just starting. I mean, naturally, right? Otherwise, you could potentially wipe out. You could just be drowned out by the rest of the voices out there. So if there's people wanting to bring forward a progressive message, the best time to get on it is now, because it is the wave of the future. It is how it's going to be used. I already have this download coming in around it, you know, very strongly. So this is what it's going to be used for. This is how the age of Aquarius is going to actually fulfill its vision, is through putting a different type of message out there that drowns out the programming of standard media. All right, but the time to catch that wave and build that momentum is now. And then that'll form a new algorithm. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like right now, what's in place, the reason why it's so hard to get beyond the algorithm is because it's programmed the old way. There's a lot happening and shifting on YouTube. It's time to grow. It's time to expand. It's time for you to really like think outside the box and shake things up. And yeah, it's a little bit disruptive, right? Especially if you've been doing something formulaic, but the old way's not going to work. People want real. People want real. People want substance. People want things to continue to evolve. They want that more broadening of horizons that's going to continue to flow. And we're heading into a very dynamic time where things aren't going to be the same. And so I just think that this is such an exciting time, actually, to be moving into this arena. And if you have had the urge to do it, and if you do want to be part of like forming, you know, that wave of change, you know, now's a good time to like hop in. And you don't have to be perfect, man. And don't get caught up in watching, you know, what's going on with other people. You know, it's always good to know what's out there, okay? To be mindful of what are people into, what are people enjoying. You know, it can be inspiring to see what other people create, for sure. But you also can't get too like hooked into that. You know, you just got to do it your way. You got to do what excites you. I think that is the bottom line for longevity in anything like this, is you have to enjoy what you're doing. And as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, and what you're doing is authentic, it's in integrity with you, and you're really feeling inspired by it, then you'll have longevity. You'll ride out, you know, all the different shifts in algorithm, because you're being true, man. And that's what counts at the end of the day. And that's what people resonate with. And that's what people want more of, you know. They want that real kind of connection. And so it's also a key to manifestation, right? You're wanting to improve your life. You're wanting to better your life. But, you know, so many people, they chase success by doing it in a formulaic way, the way they should. It sucks all the life out of you when you're doing something that's just like, you know, you're like a hamster on a wheel. It's not progressive. You're not getting anywhere, you know, and you tire yourself out, you burn out, you don't feel inspired, you know. And then what comes across is very artificial. It's not motivated by your true nature, who you are. And it's you know, it's tricky. As you move through the arena, it's tricky. There's times when you'll feel like, but I just need to get my message out there. You know, you'll hear a lot of creators say, well, I'm just going to do, you know, what I need to do right now, you know, so I can get some visibility. And then when I'm finally in a place where I've achieved that success, I'll start, you know, creating what I want to create. And then I'll switch gears. But that doesn't work. Because sometimes then your audience can feel like you're betraying them, because they're like, well, wait a minute, you know, you were doing this and now you're switching it up. So it's almost better to just be like, you know, in that position where you start creating what you want to create right off the bat. You know, don't play the game. You know, you want to get beyond the algorithm, don't play the game. You know, eventually you'll stand out like a sore thumb, and there'll be more of you. And that's going to be the new algorithm, is people just being real, keeping it real, you know. not having to follow any formula, moving into this creative play space. And isn't that a cool vision? Wouldn't that be cool if that was the algorithm to just like let people be who they are, share what they have to share, contribute what they have to contribute to the collective? Something to think about.